Well, folks, I don't see anyone taking down Team USA. This team, they're performing way too good. Canada is good, France is good, even Serbia is good, but Team USA is Team USA. So we're here once again, with my guest, Jasmine. I'm happy to be back, Jasmine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back. We're going to be talking about a lot of basketball and more basketball.
Yep. And then with football in the corner, yeah, things are gonna get much interesting. But Jasmine, so far we've seen the way Team USA is playing so far. In the last game, they absolutely picked up apart
Serbia,
Serbia
yeah.
105 to 79. Steph Curry had a big game. Um, how would you sum up or grade this team so far?
Ooh. How would I grade this team? Team USA right now, I would give them just the players alone, they get an A. But it's one thing to have all these different players from different teams all unified on one big team like this, and how they're playing together. I give them an A plus because it's hard to, you have so many egos on this team. There's a lot of guys that have a lot of big egos that are from different teams. A lot of these guys are faces of their teams and they're all, joined together. But how Kerr and this coaching staff has put them all together and made them cohesive, and they're playing in their roles. Everyone's playing their game and doing what they do best. And now they're winning the way they are. They're 3-0. It's just amazing to see. So I have to give them an A plus. And just the leadership I'm seeing from LeBron, Curry, a lot of the guys, they're really putting this team together and trying to get that gold medal. So this is a really, really awesome team. I think they're A plus. I just love how they are unified and how they're bringing everyone together.
Yes, indeed. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I just can't help but ask you this. Where will you put this team compared to 2008 and 2012?
Oh man, that 2018 was serious. That I would have to say the 2018 was the best to me. Just Kobe, what Kobe brought, and even watching the documentary on Netflix, it just brought he brought a different dynamic to the team, and how everyone was young and how everyone, was developing into their own. A young LeBron, everybody was young in that time. Carmelo, all those guys, but Kobe's presence was just you couldn't, you can't duplicate that kind of presence. So I will put 2008 for sure. But this team right here is pretty serious. The 2011 team they're solid too. But I have to say, if I had to choose out of all of them, it would be the 2008 team. That team was just a different team, especially with Kobe and how he conducted himself, how everyone conducted themselves, and how they bounced back from, being bad for so long.
Yeah, that Redeem team. I recently saw the documentary again on
Yeah.
Netflix because I've seen it before. Without his leadership, without just by his action, his work ethic, etc. One of my favorite parts of the documentary is when they all went out, clubbing, whatever the case may be, and at
Yeah.
4 a.m. Kobe was putting in work, dripping sweat, and
Shots.
that's when LeBron said like, "Oh, he's different. He's different."
Yeah. He's different. He was different. Yeah.
So now Jaylen Brown, he had this. He won MVP in the conference finals and in the NBA finals, and he got left out of the Olympics. This is not an Isaiah Thomas situation where he did the whole walk off, which was his final act in the NBA, and his issues with MJ and etc. But what do you make of this? I mean, it's even more awkward that his teammate Derek White got replaced for Kawhi Leonard because knee inflammation. So I don't. What do you make of that? That's a crazy situation.
So earlier this week on my show, Jazz on Sports, I talked about it because I was confused because I was like, he's coming off of a championship. He was the finals MVP, conference finals MVP. So he had a big role. They thought he was the best player on the team, for them to win. I personally thought he was, in the finals. He was making those defensive plays on Luka and Kyrie. He made big time shots at the times that they needed to. But in still some in a still in some capacity, I feel that everyone still views Tatum a particular way. Even though I did not think Tatum played particularly well down the stretch in the finals and different things like that, and Jaylen Brown's kind of been, the workhorse, they still look at Tatum a particular way. And even though I believe Jaylen Brown should have been on, he should have had an opportunity. I do think Jrue Holiday, White, and Tatum deserve to be on there because those guys they have high IQs, especially Jrue Holiday, what he's able to do on both sides of the ball, and him winning 2 championships with the Bucks and then now the Celtics. For Jaylen Brown this week, though, I've seen a lot of character things that I did not like. When your teammate gets selected to be on the team, you go on social media and you're putting different emojis that looks a particular way. Then you come back and say, oh, no, let me call my guy to make sure that everything is okay. Instead of saying, congratulations, my guys are, I'm happy for my guys. You're kind of like doubling back, essentially. And then, of course, what he said about Bronny, I wasn't a big fan of, especially on the sideline, saying, I don't think Bronny's a pro. I don't like that type of thing because you had to earn your spot to where you are, and it took a lot of work and effort. So I think a lot of people have seen like a different side of Jaylen Brown that we are not used to seeing. And I don't know if that played a role in him not being on. I don't want to say that played a role, but it's just, I do think as far as a player, he should have been able to have a spot. But personality-wise, there's a lot of things that I have questions about from this week.
I get his frustration, because it's like I was that guy that, I let us there. Not the only one, but one of the biggest reasons. I mean, hopefully he patched things up with Derek White and
it looks bad.
Because you're just coming off a championship. Everybody's back. Everybody got the extensions. So this team ain't going nowhere. This team is still gonna compete. So you don't want to make sure that you have a fractured relationship in the locker room. Right. Or you're trying to go and repeat, because we've seen this before where petty things can get in the way of something good going on.
Yes.
But I will say that had this been a full strength Team USA team, it would have looked even more stronger, because we're talking about Kawhi. We're talking about, it's already looking good. So, but hey, injuries are part of the game. I hate it, but it is what it is. It just sucks that because I really wanted Kawhi to participate. He's my favorite player in the game, man. These last 5 seasons, ever since he came to the Clippers, it has just been
a downhill slope. My goodness,
with these injuries. And then when we finally got to see Kawhi Leonard being healthy for 60+ games, he goes down again with knee inflammation. And one would argue that ever since that Zaza Pachulia incident, changed everything, because that's when he started to getting hurt more frequent after that happened.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point. A lot of people don't bring that up, but that is a very good point. Because it changed the trajectory. What will Kawhi be if he was fully healthy, finishing, the season and different things like that? What would he be? But you brought up the Clippers. I don't know what the Clippers could do right now. I know Russ, he's going to do a buyout with the Jazz to go sign with the Denver Nuggets. I don't know what that means for Denver. I don't know what you're getting out of Russ anymore. Paul George is a 76er, so I don't know what the Clippers plan on doing with just Kawhi. They do still have some solid pieces. Ty Lue is a very good coach. But what are the Clippers going to be this year? It can't just be solely on his shoulders, because there needs to be another person that can, carry that load. You had Paul George, but it was just a mix up all the way around. So we'll see. I'm going to definitely keep an eye out. Hopefully Kawhi gets healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy, because he's a phenomenal player. He's one of the top players in the league to me. And you just hate to see a guy, we've seen him win. We've seen him compete without saying a word, literally not saying anything. competing at the highest level, and we just want to see the guy healthy and compete. So
KD, he's coming back soon because he had a calf injury.
yeah.
Um, KD is also one of those guys where, constantly dealing with injuries, not compared to Kawhi, obviously, but he's not getting any younger. He's what, 35
Mhm.
going to 36
Yeah.
this year. So what do you think about, do you feel that, I mean, he's not gonna, obviously, when he comes back and plays, he's gonna be rusty because you have to, put in a couple of games for you
Hmm.
to get back to full form. So where do you see KD going forward with not just with Team USA, but even entering the season with Phoenix?
Um, KD's in a very, to me, I think he's in a tough spot. Um, you know, I was a big Kevin Durant fan, but when he went to Golden State, that really put a bad taste in my mouth because it didn't look right. Especially as a caliber player as he was, and you didn't have to go join them, but then again, you won your championships, you won your MVPs, but now after that, people are waiting to see, okay, what is KD going to be without them? And it hasn't gone well. I mean, we saw Curry, he won after. For KD and the Suns, it is so much that goes into this. You got Book, you got Beal, you got a lot of things that have to go into that, and I don't know. I'm not saying Durant doesn't have anything left because I still think he can ball. He's still very lethal on offense. He's a scary offensive player, one of the most efficient ever. But it takes more of a unity from the team and, of course, health. It's all about health. Beal has to be healthy. Booker has to be healthy, and they have to show up. When I saw them go up against the Timberwolves in the playoffs and how the Timberwolves just did what they did to them, it was like, man, like what are we missing? Like, what are we missing? For the Suns, but for KD, he's in a tough spot to me. I don't know if this is his last spot. I don't want to say that because he's still a great player, but I don't know what more I don't know what Phoenix. I don't see Phoenix. Because we've been talking about, oh, he was with Brooklyn and with Kyrie and Harden, and then that didn't work, and then you go to Phoenix with Book and like, oh, that's gonna, and then that didn't work. So I genuinely do not know, for the Phoenix Suns and KD what that future looks like. But I don't know if they can very much so be a playoff team. But as far as winning a championship, there has to be a lot of maturing to do for all of them. And if KD can't do it, I don't know where he's gonna go after that for him to get a ring and try to say, hey, I did it without Golden State. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see him as a title contender. I mean, I did not expect a sweep against
Yeah,
Minnesota,
exactly.
but it's gonna come down to durability, and they need a bench. They really need a deep solid bench because you can't just rely on those three.
Yeah, I agree. And they don't stay healthy. It's the fact of, yes, Booker, we all know all three of them can score. That's not the question. The question is, can you play as a unit? Can you stay healthy? And can you make the plays when needed to propel your team to the next round, to the conference finals, to the finals? That's yet to be determined for the Phoenix Suns.